All right, let's get her going here. Start of the week. And we are off and running in the 2026 Stanley Cup Playoffs.
Right.
Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo. This is the part where you tell me I'm wrong.
Nope, they're both up there.
Nailed
I got all the names right? That is awesome. We are live on Sportsnet 360, Sportsnet 590, The Fan in Toronto, streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Also available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where the chats continue to run fast and furious. All around, of course, I think still the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, Leafs are long gone, nowhere to be found, but we still got 2 hours. We'll go a little Leafs. We'll go around the league. Plenty still.
Listen, if you thought you were coming here and we weren't going to do Leafs off the top, you got the wrong show.
Like that OT win, did you?
Yeah.
Too bad.
Yeah.
Hey.
You're a Slavkovsky hat trick? Throw it in the trash.
Let's talk AGMs from losing teams.
Safe to say, the Toronto Maple Leafs search continues. Never short of information. Our very own Elliot Friedman, Frank Saravelli, all the big boys all around this with names that are still in the mix. And I don't know if they've shrunk or they're down to the nitty-gritty. We had mentioned earlier that I had heard that there was some thought that it could move a little faster than what was once projected, I think, by Keith Pelly during his press conference, that looking at something that could go as far as middle of May, but it doesn't feel like it is. Does it, JB?
No.
Before we get into the nitty-gritty here,
Okay.
we should probably explain to people what the format of our show is going to be going forward.
Oh.
Because this is the Leafs Hour, right? People come here expecting it to be the Leafs Hour.
Okay.
And I think we will, as Leafs news happens, as we know they're going to hire a general manager, they're going to be doing whatever, president, coach, whatever. We will do it as it is sees fit. If there's lots of Leafs, we'll talk lots of Leafs. If there's not much Leafs, we won't talk a ton of Leafs. But we will do some other NHL stuff in the first hour. It'll be our Leafs maybe half hour. I'm not sure how exactly how it's going to work. We've never done this when the Leafs are in the playoffs.
They've been in the playoffs for the duration.
So we're kind of
our
learning
show.
on the fly here. So that's kind of how we'll work in the first hour of our show. If you're coming here expecting all Leafs, it probably won't be all Leafs. Anyways, continue.
But for now, it's all Leafs.
Yes.
And in terms of when the hires are going to happen, yes, it does sound like things are, I'm not going to say that they've been expedited, but it does sound like, people are talking about in the next week. It could be possible. Do you think that it could be that soon?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do get that feeling. And I don't know if the feeling is that maybe a team of 2 or 3 people involved. Obviously, we've heard the name Matt Sundin involved. I don't believe for 1 second he's up for a GM job or president of hockey ops or anything like that. But I think it's safe to say that he'll come in some advisory type of role, a supporting role. So the question is, where are you on, again, a true architect, someone that can take the reins here?
Well, the names that are coming up, it sounds like it's kind of getting down. That Ryan Martin, who's an AGM from the New York Rangers, my understanding is he was the runner-up a couple years ago to Verbeek in Anaheim. Like, I think this is a guy that has been sort of sought after in the past, and a name that when the Rangers were winning a lot, people liked a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Then there's Evan Gold from the Bruins and Scott White out of Dallas, who's kind of between Nil and Peverley there, is another interesting name. So, but all 3 of those names I just mentioned have never been a GM in the league.
So
I would prefer to, if I'm taking an assistant general manager, the idea of Boston and Dallas would definitely interest me. Maybe not from the Rangers at this point, but I mean, maybe that's...
He was there when they were President's Trophy winners too.
Yeah.
Okay,
But-
fair.
But we are in a what have you done for me lately?
Yep.
So wouldn't you really want to do your homework on what's going on in the Rangers in the last year and a half, 2 years?
Yep.
And, okay, tell us what was great, about you when things were going well, but the Rangers are not in a great position. And if I'm not mistaken, his watch is also Hartford, which is the affiliate of the New York Rangers, and they're also in last place.
Right.
So, I mean, it's hard for those guys because you want to look at the positives throughout their careers, but you really kind of have to do your homework here. And for me, if I'm part of that search committee or Keith Pelly, I really want to hear what happened in New York.
Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, you've many times heard me say, I don't like when they hire the assistant coach that was on the bench of a losing team. They fire the head coach and they give it to the assistant. It's like, if you had answers, why weren't you giving them to that guy? And I kind of feel that way about the AGM. You know, the Rangers could be going in the other direction. Maybe he was part of the decision to tear it down. But you're right. There are real questions about what he been up to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what's going on?
Yeah. So, in saying that.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, go.
So, in your understanding then, I can't imagine coming out of this GM search, they hire one of these first-time GMs and that's it. Like, to me, it would be like a president and then a first-time GM. I'm okay with that relationship.
I'm totally with you. I cannot believe that they would substitute Brad Treliving for Ryan or Evan and go, we're good. You and Matt's, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they're thinking that. Like, do you think that's what they're thinking?
Do you think they're thinking about the thinking?
No, like, because there's.
What are your thoughts on that thinking?
Well, no, but there's two different conversations here. One where we're like, it's what they should do.
Right.
And we all agree that if you're going to hire one of these guys that seem like a forward-thinking first-time general manager, that is a totally acceptable and fine hire, as long as you bring in somebody with some cachet at the top. But if they're thinking that they are going to do that without the cachet at the top, that's when I start getting nervous, boys.
Maybe if they tape Matt Sundin to him, you'll like it.
I don't see a scenario where it's not without someone else.
Okay.
You don't,
okay. I don't. I'm not telling you what I know. I'm not telling you inside information. I'm telling you based on all my experience. I've been around this game for a long time. They wouldn't do that to an Evan Gold or Ryan Martin.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that to them. And especially, and I've said this.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I am quite confident.
Okay.
And especially, and I can't kind of emphasize this enough, in this particular market.
At this
you can get away.
point.
You may try to get away with it in Columbus and in New Jersey and possibly in south of Washington, D.C., but not here. Mm-hmm. It won't fly here.
I'm not sold that they're not going to try to make it fly. You know, it just feels like, you know, I've talked to people, I don't have the Rolodex you do, but trying to get feelers for this. And like, I used to be sure it was Gillis. I'm not as sure that it's Gillis. And if it's not Gillis, I can't think of another name for president.
Again, I can't argue with anything you're saying right now. I do believe that once you remove Mike Gillis off this list, it kind of gets a little thin.
Yeah.
Right?
And like, give me the second name you like, and I'm saying that to our listeners as well.
So
who's the next guy you like?
So why are we removing him off the list? Because last week it seemed like it was trending in that direction, multiple interviews, and now it's like we're not sure. Why are we not sure?
People are saying they're not sure. That's
feels like something they should land the plane on here.
Yeah. Well, I think they're circling the airport.
Evan Gold is more lawyer type of background.
Yeah, he's Boston Pridham.
Yes,
correct. That's my
right. You know, with the MBA degrees and all of that,
cap guy, compliance, contract negotiations.
But to now put him again in as the face of the decision making in this market would be challenging for a guy like that as well.
So, you know, we're hearing Gary Roberts' name come up.
Yeah, Drager mentioned that today, I think, on TSN Radio. So, like
doesn't it feel like there's a chance?
I'm okay with all of that.
Me too, but I think
I don't even know, to be quite honest with you, if it's like they know that if they call up Gary Roberts, they have something really in mind for him specifically. Yeah. And I honestly believe that with Matt's as well, that there's nothing right there definitive to say that you're going to be my assistant general manager and
we want you around.
And here are your roles and responsibilities. And no, but to go back and to speak of guys that have been part of the history here and the pitfalls and what do you see either from a talent perspective to culture perspective to the media, whatever the case is, they have a wealth of information and knowledge, and tap into that, please. Tap into that.
But to me, it's like, and not to whatever here, if you're going to go that route, former player gets the market, whatever, to me, that's you. You've been in the media and you understand this whole thing.
What are you trying to get me a job? What are you, Neil Glassberg? Am I one of your clients?
I got to tell you, I like this job, so maybe stop. But
yeah, I'm just saying, if you're going to do that, like, you might as well just do that. Well, honestly, to me, I don't see, who's been paying more attention to the day-to-day.
Do you have to pay you off right now? Do I need to give you something?
But anyway, I do feel like there's a little bit of, could they try to make one of these first-time GMs go over a little smoother by having them with their arms around Sundin and Roberts or whatever, as sort of...
It doesn't hurt. I don't think it hurts.
Right, you get the market. These guys can help you with that.
I'll just go back to, and listen, you can say whatever you want about Stevie Yzerman, right? In Detroit, present, time. But the guy came out of playing, he waited a little bit, then he worked with Kenny Holland in Detroit for about 3 or 4 years, and he just learned. He just shadowed Kenny, and he got involved, and he got to sit in on some privileged meetings and information, and he just went to work, and he learned. And that's when Tampa Bay really went after him, right?
Oh, your mic.
And that's, to me, that's what Mats has to do. Now, there was an article in the Toronto Sun a few days ago that said it's about time that the Leafs, went after Mats. And it's like, the headline was wrong. It wasn't. It was the other way around.
Credit to Simmons, who acknowledged that he wrote the piece. He doesn't write the headlines.
Correct.
Carry on.
And it's like the headliner got it wrong. It's Mats has been around for 1.5 years, 2 years. He went to rookie tournaments. He's been on road trips. He's talked to the players. It's like, even with Brendan Shanahan, it was like, Mats, what do you want to do? I'm good right now. I'm good. I don't need any more on my plate. I got still a young family. And now he's in a better position maybe to offer more. How much more remains to be seen. But Mats needs to come in and learn the business in 2, 3, 4 years before I think he can have a real effect moving forward here.
Well, that's, to me, the Yzerman clearly wanted to do this. He wanted to be a GM. He wanted to learn the ins and outs. He's competitive still. What he wanted to do. I don't really want someone to be a part of the Leafs management as someone who's got a pretty good life. And if it doesn't go great, whatever, and if I've got a fallback plan, like, you kind of want someone hungry to, like, this is their world. This is their everything. They're immersed in it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, to me, you are more of an ambassador, and that's fine. Special advisor, ambassador, that stuff is cool. I don't know.
Can I just...
You're talking about, like, Jason Spezza when you're just describing someone like Yzerman who go in, learn it, hang around.
It has to be 24/7. You got to live and breathe it here.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you don't have that mentality, and you also have to have an open mentality to say, okay, I don't care about titles. I don't care what it says on the business card. You tell me what I need to learn, and I'll go and learn it. Mm-hmm. Do I need to go on the road? Do I need to go meet with our prospects? Do I need to go meet with their parents? Do I need to talk to their agents? You tell me what I need to do to learn this business, and I'll go.
But if that's the job, it's irrelevant to how that's a job training program, and it doesn't have anything to do with how the Leafs are run next year. Like, that's developing a future president of hockey or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not going to help the Leafs, make the playoffs next year.
But Mats can't come in here and help them make the playoffs. Maybe he can. I don't know. I'm not saying, but it's against the odds. That's all I'm saying is that's not really the way it's supposed to work. you can always get lucky. You can always kind of, hey, did you ever think about this guy? Okay, great. He turned out great. Mm-hmm. But over the course of many years here, the percentages tell you that you've got to learn the business. And, it's no different than playing pro hockey. You got to put some training wheels on here.
So I don't want to be, I got this list in front of me, and I don't necessarily want to be disrespectful to the names on this list, but maybe I'm about to be. There's been lots of talk if this job is still as sought after as it has been in years past, and people have, made the jokes that, like, no one would want to go there in the situation that they're in right now. Like, this whole process, I would say I'm a little bit underwhelmed in terms of, like, it's the Toronto Maple Leafs. It's a huge opportunity. I know that they're not in the perfect spot, but, like, I feel like names used to come out of the woodwork when this would start, and people would be clamoring for this job. And just like their list of names, and maybe they're doing that on purpose to kind of change it up and have a younger, different type of view. But I look at this list of names, and I'm like...
But the younger doesn't match up with, we want to come back here in 12 months and be the Boston Bruins.
That's honest, what I mean, though. But I look at this, I'm like, John Chaika, it's Pridham, it's Bonus, Gregory Camp. Like, I don't want to throw these guys under the bus, but it's just...
I do think that there was an interest in demonstrating that the search was exhaustive. I think
Sure.
they're making an effort to say, hey, we did talk to a whole bunch of people, and I do think that's part of it. But one thing that does interest me...
So that's optics, you're saying, for optics?
I do think that's part of it, yeah.
Okay.
The other thing is, when Shanahan took over the job here, and at the start of sort of his tenure, he looked big. We're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Go get Lou Lamoriello. They ended up outbidding everyone for Mike Babcock. They ended up, he went after the big fish. Dubas was kind of a sought-after young guy that brought in. Mark Hunter was the top dog, and, in Major Junior.
This is my exact point.
Like, they went at that. And actually, there's a good article today in The Athletic again, Jonas Siegel, talking just about that should be the target here. It's, can you go ask for
Doug Armstrong,
top guys around the NHL?
I'm with you 100%. And if we would have just contemplated the day after Brad Treliving was fired, I think everybody said Doug Armstrong.
Mm-hmm. But number one name.
It's been
amongst any
so quiet around Doug Armstrong. And I wrote last week that it's my understanding that they haven't asked for permission. They haven't knocked on his door.
See, that's crazy to me.
Like, yeah. It is crazy. And then also with that, and I don't want to derail because I want to go back to that, but, like, what about Kelly McCrimmon in Vegas or, whatever, if you like Brisebois in Tampa Bay? What about these sort of names? I understand they're still actively playing, but, like, I don't know. Can you go talk to those sort of names? That does interest me. The Doug Armstrong thing, why would that be? Would it just be that the hype is too much? It seems too obvious. We don't want to do the obvious thing.
There'd be a number of reasons why we haven't really heard his name.
Let's just have the chat.
Let's see where you're at.
Yeah.
Unless they're not interested in him,
which would be crazy.
Well, unless they
I don't know if they're going with a different philosophy on how to build a team. It's not as crazy as you think, and I don't think he's as progressive as Mike Gillis, or at least the perception of Mike Gillis, because he's been out of the game he's been out of the executive NHL game for 14 years. But I think Gillis has a better chance of convincing them that he's more what they're looking for than maybe Doug Armstrong.
Well, hold on, though. I don't like the idea that they're going to dictate to a president or something the way to build a team or what kind of team.
Are they worried that Doug's going to be like, blow it up?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah.
That could certainly be part of it. But, like, I don't like the idea that they would say, well, Doug's going to want to build it by, big guys on the bottom line, so we don't want that or something. Like, you just got to talk to the best hockey people. And
yeah,
Doug's had a pretty good track record with a place that not everyone wants to go in St. Louis.
I for me personally, I would smoke out Doug Armstrong just make them say no, right? Make them say he's off limits. And if you want to your point, if you really want to do the optics thing and you already know that you can't get him,
do it.
Do it anyways.
100%.
We're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
We are the Toronto Maple Leafs. We ain't Columbus. We ain't Carolina. we're the Toronto Maple Leafs.
And Vegas has been operating like, give me that.
Yeah,
Give me
we want that.
I want that.
Yeah.
Give me that, for whatever. Like, can Toronto do a little bit of like, we're going to take that? Well, we're going to outbid everyone.
The last question I would have, I guess maybe before we move on to the playoffs, but you kind of alluded to it there with Tampa, just sort of as an offhanded comment. Would there be any value in waiting to the end of the first round, see if there's a surprising first round exit for a team, i.e. Tampa? Like, they're not going to let Breezewall go to the Leafs or whatever, but maybe talk to him or just anything. Like, is there any value in waiting to the end of the first round, or do you have to get this done?
I'm just racking my brain, like who's going to lose in the first round or could lose and who would be appealing.
So,
I don't know.
Who if you
have to offer more than what
if you choose to wait, like Sammy's suggesting, who are you scared you're going to lose right now? Mike Gillis, who's been out of work for 14 years.
Really good point. Really good. Gold.
Ryan Martin,
White.
right? Brett Peterson. Like,
what if Carolina loses to Ottawa? Then we could have Tulsky and Toronto and argue every single day.
The show would be electric. But yeah, like it could be worth a wait, because to your point, it doesn't feel like you're racing to steal
What if
someone.
the Penguins lose in the first round and they got Kyle Dubas?
Hey, Brendan Shanahan is also available.
That's interesting it's funny.
Not the worst idea. Just bring him back. Run it back.
It would be an unbelievable. It didn't work.
How many times did the Yankees bring back Billy Martin?
Right. He got fired in a press conference after just getting hired, didn't he?
But yeah, I guess I'm looking at these teams and I like maybe there's, the Kings lose, like you're not Ken Holland or like, Bruins, Don Sweeney's not going to go anywhere. Mammoth, Bill Armstrong's not going to go
Chris
anywhere.
McFarland from
Avalanche,
Colorado.
I feel like they might
like
have
him.
might have too deep of a run.
Doug raves about him, eh?
Yeah.
He wanted Vancouver to hire.
He is very well respected.
You would have to, because typically you can't get these guys for the same job. They won't let you interview for the same job. But if you offer more, typically franchises won't limit you from a move up. So you might have to say, do you have interest in president, GM?
How about
that's what happened in Vegas, right? To Kelly McCrimmon, is that George McPhee bumped himself up to give him to match the general manager job that that maybe got a lot of teams to back off.
Kelly want to be GM here?
Yeah, I don't think
it's a lateral
himself?
move. George won't let him go.
President GM?
As long as he's under contract.
Yeah.
I don't think they're losing in the first round, boys.
No, they're not.
Did you guys watch that game?
Yeah.
That was a heavy hockey game. They were trying to
Yeah,
kill
they
each
were.
other.
There was some real nastiness.
Yeah. My boy Dursey headbutting.
Attempted. But
It's a headbutt.
It's one of those things
it was
where
a love tap.
well, that's it. When the force isn't really there and you get a guy in the visor, we pretend it didn't happen.
So
It's like, it's buried. It wasn't very good.
anything else on the Leafs? Coaching? Rube's still just chilling?
How can he not be?
Yeah. Chilling.
Right?
Yep.
And Pelly also said that that's going to be up to the general manager, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So
Finalist is interesting. I'm curious what finalist means for the next week. But
overall takeaways from the first weekend of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
I think I'll let you give your take that you had in a group chat with me and someone else about.
Some boring games.
Yeah. See, I didn't feel that way.
I thought the first day, the games in particular weren't great. Like the Ottawa game was a snooze fest.
So to me, that was an unbelievably well-played hockey game.
Slop.
Saturday,
Just not even.
Saturday between three games, there was one goal scored in the first period.
Yeah, Minnesota game stunk.
But
Pittsburgh game
Ottawa-Carolina game was not slow. There was just people
you,
everywhere.
You enjoy a pitcher's duel, 1-0 in the 7th or 8th inning.
I don't want to see it 7 times. I thought that was a really well-played hockey game. Like, where do you go? Like, it was fast, competitive. There just wasn't room.
Every guy on the Carolina D-Corps is the Leafs' best guy.
I love that take.
There's not one guy.
Jalen Chatfield is immediately a top pair guy.
Number one guy in the Leafs. Not even close.
I don't know that you're wrong.
I am right. Like all their guys are so lanky.
Sean Walker.
Yeah, maybe not.
It is.
Maybe not Sean Walker.
Ghost is up there.
I mean, he'd be better in the power play. That's for sure.
It is another example, though, on how things just tighten right up in the first round.
Yeah.
And Montreal last night was a prime example of 5 shots on goal, like
5-on-5
into the second period.
Yeah.
5. And sometimes I say, okay, that's just really good, tight checking hockey. And then there's other times like I go, and people are paying a lot of money, and you wouldn't go to a basketball game and just see like 5 attempted shots going into the second quarter.
Oh, Brandon Ingram did that.
Right?
And then he blamed the coach.
And I don't know. Shots on goal are hard to come by. Forget about goals now. I'm talking about getting pucks to the net. Either they refuse to do it because they're they're only shooting to score. They're not shooting to create anything secondary.
There's no time.
Might not be any time, but I don't know. I mean, sometimes it bleeds into what guys like Sammy and maybe his buddies are thinking, like, this is boring. 4 shots on goal, 5 shots on goal. We're in the second period. What is going on?
I thought the nastiness in the Montreal Lightning game elevated a bit. Those teams really don't like each other. Yeah. So, I mean, the start of the game where Jordan Staal caught Brady with a hard right hook, knocked him down. I thought that was great. And I thought the Montreal game, I thought the Buffalo at the end was fantastic for a lot of that. They got stifled.
Pittsburgh, Philly, there was enough mistakes that it was fun. There was I like that one. You guys didn't enjoy that game?
I watched every second of that game.
Yeah.
I watched Jays and that game on a side-by-side at an establishment that may serve beer.
I thought it was good.
So would you find the audience split on the fight between Staal and Tkachuk on, okay, what are they doing? Did it have an effect? Did it not have an effect? Is it a waste of time?
I'll tell you what
Is it a showboating move?
To me, I saw Brady try to do the thing where you just establish dominance, you know, whatever. Say something to their guy, he doesn't want to fight, and all of a sudden you have the upper hand, right? You're already afraid of me, and Staal be like, I guess I can't not fight. And you just do the right thing. Okay, well then, hey, if we're going to do this, if that's important to you, and yeah,
Brady
hung in there.
Brady he forgot that he grew up in Thunder Bay with 3 brothers.
It's a large animal.
He caught him.
I don't know. Did you feel differently about it?
Yeah, for the most part, I do. I just think that that certain people that probably have never really been in that environment or felt being on a team just get a little too dismissive on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's
like in terms of it mattering.
Yeah, but how it matters.
Okay.
Right? And how it affects 19 or 20 other guys. Or
like how George's 40 and he's still doing it for the boys.
They don't take into consideration on the effect that it has on a teammate or a coach or anybody in the organization. And I think that can't be lost in all of this. And yeah, on the surface, it may look like, did it matter? Did it change anything? Did it not? You can always make that argument. But what you can't argue is how it made the guy beside you feel. Mm-hmm. And they have no idea on that. And for a guy like Brady or Jordan to come out and do it, you know, maybe it was something that they said before the game, and then to go out there to say certain things like we won't back down, we won't give an inch, right? God. If you're saying that, then you go out there and do it, it will have a lasting effect on the team the rest of the series, the rest of the year. It's like, it's one thing to say something, and then it's another thing to be willing to do that. Mm-hmm. And it carries not just in the game, but it carries when you go back on the bus. It carries when you sit together and have dinner the night before a game. And it just changes the way you feel about each other. And I don't know if anybody outside of being in that situation truly can understand that.
Well, I think a lot of people would say, okay, but both sides get that feeling. So where's the advantage?
But I think that Carolina would have got way more out of that than Ottawa would have.
To me,
he's willing to stand in there with Brady.
Yeah. To me, I see Jordan Staal scored 20 goals this year. He's not nobody, and he is older. And the fact that he, you know, like I just think we've watched the Leafs in playoffs for the past 9-10 years. You know, who off an opening faceoff could Brady have said that to in the Leafs that have been like, all right, you know, and that's pretty cool to have teams willing to go, all right, their guy's going to try to be a bully. Well, we're not, we're going to stand up to that. I think that's pretty valuable.
Have it be the first game of the playoffs. You're just like, oh my God, let's go.
JB, I think what you're saying is fair, that you could sit there and go, well, he did that and they did that, and then maybe they just canceled each other out. But it's like, okay, but what's the follow-up?
Yep.
And what's the momentum off of that? And whose momentum dies eventually, and whose goes right through the series and wins? And
since the beginning, we answered the bell.
Since the beginning, and it made me look at myself. And if you're willing to do that, then I got to look in the mirror and say, I'm willing to do something else. And maybe it's not a fight. Maybe it's finishing a check. Maybe it's getting into a scrum. Maybe it's in whatever it is. It's the domino effect that energy has on your hockey club, and who can outlast who, right? Who's got the intestinal fortitude to see it through from beginning to the end of the series?
You know who's a dog? Is that Stanky boy.
He's
a dog.
He's good. Listen, all their players outside of Jordan Staal and Svechnikov could be the same player. I can't tell any of them apart. They're all the same height. They all fly around. They forecheck. They all look the
exact. Oilers.
It's like who is Stankov and Blake? I don't know any of these. Who are these guys?
Sammy, did you recognize Freddie Anderson playing?
The stakes.
Full 9-15 save
Friday.
percentage.
Stakes
Freddie
weren't
Anderson.
nearly big enough in that one.
How
boys.
about the goal line save?
Oh my God!
How did they call that a goal?
The ref got tricked by Brady calling a goal.
But it wasn't even close.
Well, it was close.
I mean,
it was close. What I think what everybody got tricked was that the glove went back, but the puck didn't.
Right.
And the assumption was the puck was in his glove, and it wasn't.
We should go. We got Simmer talk about Habs Lightning on the other side.
Ooh, all right. Stanley Cup champion Craig Simpson. He's doing a great job already out of game 1 of Montreal, Tampa Bay. We'll get into that and so much more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, and joining us now, Craig Simpson, Stanley Cup champion, Hockey Night in Canada. We're right into it, Simmer. Game 1, baby. Didn't disappoint me. What are your early thoughts on the Montreal Canadiens getting a big jump out of the gate?
Yeah, you know what? I think everybody came into this series feeling like, a little different vibe for Montreal than last year. A much more mature team, a team that last year never really got themselves into the Washington series and, went pretty easily in 5. So I think the anticipation was there. Ironically, guys, though, even John Cooper said today, not a whole lot happened in the game. Neither team had 10 shots in a period. It was only a 23-19 shot game. So in that respect, I thought it was a tightly played game that I thought maybe 5-on-5 there'd be a lot more happening. Then in the end, it ended up being, the special teams that were really the only thing that was able to grab hold of the game. And fortunately for Montreal, what a big win to go on the road in a tough building and get scored on 2 quick goals in 29 seconds. It's not often that you win those games, and especially in playoffs when momentum can change so much. And I think Montreal's got to be feeling confident and pretty happy with their overall performance going into a tough barn and getting the all-important first game of the series.
And it's fascinating watching it all kind of come together for Montreal over the past year, that confidence included. But boy, Slafkovsky's the dude, right? Like that confidence has grown. The Olympic performances we've seen, as we head into the postseason, they're not all big, but this guy is, we were joking earlier that he was accused of being Pierre Engvall when he was drafted by some people on this show, but
Yeah, me.
but he has certainly become something different, has he not?
Thank God it was you.
You know what, he has. And he's a classic example of a big young kid that had to learn to grow into his body and learn to get his speed up to NHL levels. I talked to CC and Kyle before this series, and, as you're preparing and looking at stats, I looked at Slav and I said immediately, I went to Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl, 3rd overall pick, a big guy, maybe not the fastest. Took a little while to grow into his body. Look at the numbers, guys. Rookie year, Slafkovsky, 4 goals, 10 points in 39 games. Draisaitl, 2 goals, 9 points in 37. Second year, Draisaitl, 1951. Second year, Slafkovsky, 20 goals, 50 points. Third year, 29 and 77 for Dry. A little bit of a slip with 18 and 51 for Slafkovsky. But all of a sudden, this year, 30 goals, 73. Guess what the 4th year was for Leon Draisaitl? 25 goals, 70 points.
Wow.
Guys, you know what? The 5th year for Draisaitl was 50 goals and 105 points. Do you not get a little bit of a vibe and a feeling that I wouldn't be shocked if you've got Caulfield scored on one side, you've got a 100-point man now in Suzuki in the middle. Why can't Slafkovsky take that next jump too? I just thought the similarities were so similar to me, and a guy that now can play at a higher speed. He thinks at a higher speed than he did in his first year, than he did in his second year, than he did in his third year. And I think now with that confidence and understanding, hey man, this game can be on my stick. I can take control of it. I think there's really such a huge upside for him, and I just couldn't help but looking at Dry, having watched him all the way through, and say, why not? Very similar. Slafkovsky's even an inch taller than him, and now he's understanding how to use that body to protect the puck, how to get into those tight areas and make plays. That goal he scored in overtime, I know that it shocked Vasilevsky that he was able to turn his body quickly and get that kind of release off. And I think the sky's the limit, and what a start to your playoff run when now you feel like you're, a potential star in the league. Now you feel like you're a difference maker, and you want to talk about a little bit of a confidence boost in game 1. Slafkovsky certainly got it.
You're listening to Craig Simpson, former National Hockey Leaguer, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, Hockey Night in Canada, covering the Montreal Canadiens, Tampa Bay. Game 2 set for tomorrow night, 7 p.m. on Sportsnet. Simmer, You've been in this scenario this time of year where you're expected to produce, and especially for Caulfield coming off a 50 goal season here. Talk about Caulfield's challenges a little bit now moving forward. It sure helps that Slafkovsky can open up some lanes for him. But just in terms of what it's like and what he might be feeling this time of year, especially when we went into a game where there wasn't much happening, no shots on goal, no shot attempts.
Right.
What could he be thinking about going into this spring?
Well, I think what really kind of surprised me a bit, but also impressed me a lot, was that top line. You know how important it is for them to be productive because they have 110 goals. The next highest line for Montreal has 42. So going in that John Cooper's got either Cirelli line now he started with. It might be Gord at different times. So you're going to get all kinds of attention. I really felt that line showed a lot of maturity in a game where, as I said, Cooper said nothing was really happening. So 5-on-5, Nick, you weren't getting any real good looks. You weren't touching the puck maybe as much as you normally do in a game. And I think even last year, that line might have got frustrated, might have got off their game, might have taken chances, and might have, opened up Kucherov if they had got out against him. Or even look at Hagel, how effective he was, and given up a lot defensively. And I think that showed a lot of maturity. You have to know, you go in as the responsibility to score. That's paramount. But I think what they're also learning is, but it can't be at the expense of giving up 2 or 3 against. And I think that's the biggest takeaway I had coming out of that top line that really didn't get anything going 5-on-5. They used their opportunity on the power play, and correct me if I'm wrong, you don't get penalized for scoring on the power play. That's part of your job too. And I thought the frustration they had 5-on-5, they took it to a better level on the power play and said, okay, this is our chance, guys. We got some open ice. Caulfield made a beautiful play on the Slafkovsky goal at the end of the second. And so you can find a way to be productive without putting the puck in the net, knowing, though, that, hey, I've got to keep my engine running. I've got to keep skating. To me, when Caulfield's playing at such a high energy level and he gets first to the puck or gets inside position, he is so hard to take the puck away from because, much like his head coach, Marty St. Louis, low center of gravity, gets underneath you, got quick little fast twitch muscles, can create some separation, and if you give him a chance to shoot, he can beat you. So I think it was a really interesting game in that way that I think they showed a lot of maturity and growth in their overall understanding of what they needed to be as a line. They got, the Cirelli line scored that quick goal that gave the 2-1 lead. But it didn't fall off. Their game defensively was solid. They did what they had to do. And then when they got their chances, they showed their skill when it mattered most, and that was on the power play to win the game.
Cooper sure was hard on his team for the stupid penalties, and that one by Geekie was extremely stupid. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll be
unbelievable. Eh? Like when you see those 4 offensive zone penalties that were just absolutely needless.
Crazy.
And the Geekie one, you feel bad for a kid that hadn't played much hockey, only 14 games here during the year. But again, you look at Montreal and you had 2 horrible penalties. The Geekie one, you score on it. You tie the game, you go into the third. The Gensel one, I just don't know what you're doing there. Like, I'm a guy who I'm all for the tips and that, but you can't take a swing like that when you know that you're in tight quarters. That one for me would have been a long night for a veteran guy like Gensel. And I can tell you, Nick, you know the feeling. You take a penalty and you give a team an opportunity. You're sitting in that box going, I can't believe what I just did. And, lo and behold, a brilliant move by Marty to, he kept his timeout in that second period when he delayed so much after the second goal. It was almost as good as a timeout. And I thought he used it to perfection there to just say, hey, they'd already been out a minute and 59 seconds of the period. You had 40 seconds left on the power play. There wasn't a whole lot of talk. It was just gather yourselves, get your game together. And lo and behold, his team goes out and wins the game for him.
It's interesting you say that, Simmer. And, we've played in enough series, me and you, where you know that you just hope that when the series over and hopefully you win, that you're on the right side, because that's the type of penalty that could cost you a series as early as game one.
Absolutely. You know the pendulum swings of belief or doubt, and I do believe there, as ironic as it seems, okay, there's a penalty that gives two penalties. One, you're in complete control after being down 1-0. You're up 2, you go finish off the second period, and instead a last-minute power play goal off of a terrible penalty, right? That's a killer. And then all of a sudden you're in a position where now, despite you've got a goaltender at one end who, playing his fourth game, Dobish, I thought was spectacular on the night. I think incredibly, there's an incredible amount of pressure on Vasilevsky here. This has been a 3-year span where he's won 4 games and now lost 13 in that span. His goals against average is the lowest was .322, the highest was .356. Save percentage, .872, highest is .897. As crazy as it sounds, I think tomorrow, and it said Gensel's going, I let my team down. I allowed them a win on the road in the first game. I now look and say, hey, there's a huge amount of pressure on those veteran guys for Tampa. And I don't think any more than Vasilevsky to say you had a bounce-back season in the regular season, but this playoff run for them is horrible. Like, they are 1-10 on home ice in their last 11 games, and they're 1-12 in overtime. I mean, it's mind-boggling. And you know how it goes, Nick. The pressure suddenly comes because Montreal's going, hey, we've planted the seed of doubt. Our goaltender, proved that he's not looking like a rookie there. He's got some good confidence. I think there's a huge amount of focus tomorrow on Vasilevsky saying, I'm shutting the door, guys. I'm going to get you a win.
Simmer,
and if that doesn't happen, the pressure that just heaps on this group.
I did a post-game hit with Ivanka and Ken after, and I hated the overtime goal when Slafkovsky's on the left side, on his strong side, and he's at the dot, and he beats him. Like, Vasilevsky lost his net. There's no question that it was a good shot. I give him that. But you look at that angle, and all of a sudden you're really questioning what Vasilevsky's going to show up the rest of this series.
Well, so I'll analyze all 4 goals, Nick. The first one from Anderson, he cheated on the one time. He thought it was going to be a pass over to Evans. He was already moving. Great little adjustment by Anderson to go short side up. So there you're overplaying. The beauty play by Caulfield. Hey, I said on the broadcast, information is so critical, and pre-scouts is critical to understand what your opponent can do. But sometimes it can be dangerous, too, because Vasilevsky bit hard that this was going to be a short side shot. If you watch the replay, he's leaning up against the post to his right when the shot isn't coming. Now, when it goes back the other way, he overplays. And Slafkovsky didn't really make his shot there, but his pad wasn't down on the ice because he wasn't controlled. He wasn't balanced in his move and his push across. So there's goal number 2. The the power play at the end of the second period, the one-timer by Slafkovsky, same thing. Got overplaying, thinking the shot was coming from Demidov. Demidov did a great job of faking it, but didn't get there in time. And then, as you said, that game winner, I think, shocked him how quickly Slafkovsky got the shot away, but it's another shot just underneath the arm over the pad. And I think he's left feeling all 4 of them. I think he was overreacting and overplaying all 4 of them.
Simmer, great stuff, man. We're going to be leaning on you heavily in this series. I hope you're okay with that.
I was glad it was only a half-hour Leaf hour because I was going, I'm not sure I got much to add.
No, we're good, buddy. We're good. Enjoy game 2 tomorrow night. Thanks, Simmer.
All right, take care.
Thanks so much.
Craig Simpson.
Leafs broke Vasilevsky.
The
never been the same
Anderson
since that
first
series.
goal. The Anderson first goal. Have you ever seen more net on an NHL shot? Where are you going?
No. And I know you guys are watching. Does it feel like every point shot's going in?
Yes.
He's doing this, and it feels like everything's going in.
And our boy Steve Alacette constantly refers to those big men who stretch up, right?
Yep.
And start looking over heads.
Mm-hmm. No, listen, that series at least beat Tampa in 6. The number one reason they beat them was Vasilevsky. They got outplayed for long stretches of that series.
Samsonov outplayed him.
Well, I mean, that's all you need to say.
Right?
Where is
you're right.
Samsonov?
You're right.
Is he playing for Minsk?
He
Like,
said
where
that. I was like,
is he?
who?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But they multiple 5-goal games in that series, like beat them from the point on multiple huge. It just, I don't know.
That's actually kind of reminds me of the Morgan Riley OT winner now, that the Slavkovsky one, right? Distance from out.
He was out further. It was like out from the far boards.
Right, but it's a left shot, left point.
Short side, maybe. Can't remember exactly.
Remember
Anyways, he's just, the aura has worn off with
Tampa Bay must win.
But this
tomorrow night.
That was Marc-Andre Fleury too. Like, it's a hard position.
You can't go back into that building.
But 1-10 at home in their last 11.
They lose every overtime game. The Leafs beat them in 3 straight overtime.
The power play was like 1-32 down the stretch.
Jeez. Their power play still looks so good, though.
Yeah, it does. It does.
How nasty is Cooch at the top of that day?
Well, you know what's funny is that power play they scored on to tie it up, the Hagel goal. Everyone was touching it and doing stuff, and eventually they got it to Cooch, and it was like, just get it to 80 seconds.
And Radish with another bomb.
Yeah, he heated that up. That actually hit the blocker.
When he signed Sammy with your Leafs, he's got to bring Kucherov with him, though, for the one-timers.
I know it's not going to work out well, but I'm watching that game last night. I'm like, oh, baby, bring him to the Leafs. I'm just like, bring him in.
Yeah.
He hits it hard.
That was an odd display. This Tampa Bay team does have to get it sorted out.
If they can't go back to the Bell Center.
If I'm geeky and I take that penalty 200 feet from my net when we're up, I'm like throwing up that night. I'm telling you, it's
he skated
for a role
right at
player
him and cross-checked him in the mouth.
For a role player in that scenario, I'm praying right now that we don't lose the series because that one will haunt me.
Super dumb.
All right, our thanks to Craig Simpson. Coming up next, as we go national on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show, Rob Brown, former National Hockey League forward, will tee up the Edmonton Oilers. Game 1 tonight. Sportsnet and CBC. 10:20 Eastern. You're not going to want to miss that. It's the National Hour on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. We are live on Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, and streaming always on Sportsnet Plus. Can't catch us live? No problem. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube, where we always appreciate the chat and the thumbs up. Love the thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
You can't do two. You can only do one, Sammy.
Shout out, Grace.
I hope they didn't take away a thumb. You can take away a thumb too, you know.
Well, you can go thumbs down, but you would never do that to us.
Oh, thumbs down?
Yeah, they would never.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah.
I have no opinion on the thumbs.
Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. Did I already say that?
I think.
Just a reminder to everybody who we are. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in Rob Brown, former National Hockey League forward, Edmonton Oilers analyst for Ched. And we get going here. Does it feel like we're halfway through every other series except the Edmonton Oilers and the Anaheim Ducks?
It is strange. Let's get her going here.
I would hate to be one of those teams, wouldn't you? Like, it's a long way.
I'd hate to be Anaheim while Edmonton's getting dry rested and I'm in more rest. And everything's good over there. Now we can start. Great. Couldn't have snuck one in.
How about Simmer comparing Slav to...
And actually, you were unplugged for a little bit of it. He was actually quite in depth on that, and their stats, Slavkovsky and Draisaitl, earlier in their career, are mirroring one another. Except Slav is bigger.
He outgrew the Pierre Engvall allegations.
Yes, he certainly did.
God,
Leon Draisaitl. We'll get into this with Brownie as well, but Leon Draisaitl given a clean bill of health.
Going to play tonight, then,
and will play tonight.
Ooh wee.
That's awesome. I wish it wasn't at midnight, the puck drop, but that's, I guess, what we got to deal with.
It's a late puck drop.
But I mean,
a late Blue Jay game too, right?
Oh yeah. It's just a
late TV night.
It's just another fabulous TV night.
It is elite TV night.
Just NHL, Raptors playoff game, Jays late, Oilers late.
Wives must hate this time of year.
My wife's in California, so I'm just.
Are you like a couch planter?
What do you mean?
Like
he goes nowhere.
I go nowhere.
I know, but are you lying down horizontally, or are you a feet up guy?
Foot rest.
Foot rest.
Yeah, foot rest guy.
Yeah, and the remote cannot be too far away. I actually have trouble breathing if I can't find the remote. Like in 30 seconds.
My kids go to bed like they're out of my hair officially around 9, and after 9, I love a late start. It's like, all right, I can dedicate myself.
I'm a maestro on the remote.
Yeah.
I wish I had 2 TVs or 4 TVs like Kyper does in his palace, but I only have 1 TV.
I'm down. I'm a part-timer now in media.
You got 2 or 1?
I got 1.
I'm
really?
in
down to 1.
negotiations. I'm in the latter stages of negotiations with the wife for a second.
I had the 4.
Negotiations.
I had the 4.
I've gone poorly for 5 years.
In my heyday, I had the 4.
Yeah. And Emery tolerated
that? And it's like 4 different.
But it works for his brain. Does it not make perfect sense?
4 different boxes too.
Oh my
right?
God.
4 remotes?
Yeah,
$6,000 no. Cable every month.
No, there was my guy got me
Universal?
an app that could control all of them, but then you got to change the box.
Oh my God! How did
you?
It was
a little tricky.
Kyper, you don't even have notifications on your phone. You're doing an app to work 4 television boxes?
I told you it was in my heyday.
Oh my God!
All right,
I love it.
Let's not waste any time. Let's bring in Rob Brown, covering the Edmonton Oilers for us on Real Kyper and Bourne. Brownie, are you a one television guy during the playoffs, or you got that set up with everything going on?
I'm one television, and sometimes I'll go on my phone as well, but I'm one. I get confused if 2 things are going on at the same time. When we're at the Ched studios where we do the radio games from the away games, we'll have 2 TVs going. Sometimes it's baseball going or football before playoffs, and I'll just start watching one, and then I'll forget to watch the other. So all of a sudden, the end of the period will come. Oilers are up 2-1. I don't remember either goal, but I know that Vladdy went deep in the second.
Brownie, as we concluded the regular season, it was still kind of up in the air on who the Oilers would play, and heaven forbid they get this matchup that would resemble a Dallas, Minnesota scenario. It didn't happen. They've got Anaheim now. Kind of worked out the way, probably everybody's most comfortable with to start these playoffs for the Oilers, correct?
I think so. I think that of all the teams and all the scenarios that the Oilers could have had, I think this one works out best for the Oilers. There's teams that I've seen the Oilers play now for, this is my 20th year. So there's teams that they struggle against, and there's teams that just fit their eye. And Anaheim is a team that gives up a lot of chances. And the Oilers are one of the top offensive teams in the National Hockey League. Anaheim takes a lot of penalties, and they're not very good at killing them. Well, the Oilers have the best power play in the National Hockey League. So to me, this suits the way that the Oilers play. The Oilers and Anaheim both, I think of the 8 worst defensive teams in the NHL, 2 of them are playing in this series. The other 6 aren't playing in the playoffs. So both these teams have been able to outscore their mistakes during the regular season. But we know, because we've seen the last 2 playoff years, the Edmonton Oilers are able to find a defensive game in the playoffs. They're able to win a 2-1 or a 3-2 hockey game. I don't know if Anaheim can. So for me, this is a series that the Oilers should be heavily favored in, and it would take an incredible effort by Dostal and net for Anaheim to keep these close. Anaheim can score, but I don't know if they can stop the Oilers, and I certainly don't know if they can stop the Oilers on the power play.
Like, I'm 0% concerned about the Oilers skaters matching up with the Anaheim skaters. I think I forget if I predicted this in 4 or 5. Love Edmonton here.
3, I think. 3.
It might have been 3. But big picture, how do you feel about the goaltending as you head into this? Obviously, Ingram being a guy that maybe, I don't know. How do you feel about the status of things?
Well, there was a little scare here a couple of weeks ago when Ingram left a game. I'm not sure remember which game it was, but he left partway through the game. We're like, oh, okay, wait a second. That changes everything. Ingram has been everything they'd hoped for. At the beginning of the season, when they traded for Ingram, they gave up future considerations. Stan Bowman probably had a plan. Ingram and Skinner pushing each other for starts. And come playoff time, whoever's the better of the two will play in the playoffs. Well, Ingram had a terrible start in the minors. Stuart Skinner and Pickard both really struggled in the NHL, and the Oilers were bad defensively. So there was, I don't know, a panic trade made, but there was one that I don't think they expected to make for Jari. But since they brought up Ingram, he's given them consistency. He's given them, the saves that he's supposed to make. He makes them all the time. He's very calm in net. And I think this Oiler team likes the calming influence of their goaltender. There's no, over the last couple of years, I mean, Stuart Skinner was good for the Oilers. He took them to the Stanley Cup Finals back-to-back years, but there were moments of panic for the Oilers defensively and not getting a save when they needed it. I've yet to see a goal that Ingram has let in that you're like, ooh, that one he should have had. He just gives them consistent goaltending. Now, the Oilers are playing consistent in front of him, so that combination of better defensive hockey and a goaltender that has been rock solid gives the Oilers, to me, a very confident group going into the playoffs, knowing their goaltenders are going to be there for them.
You're watching and listening to Rob Brown, former National Hockey Leaguer, covering the Edmonton Oilers, analyst for CHED, as they get set to open up Game 1 of their Stanley Cup playoff drive against Anaheim. Leon Draisaitl, clean bill of health. Worried about any rust at all, or no, not this guy?
No, well, Kyper, this is different players than when we played. If I missed 14 games, it would take me 3 months to get back into shape. I mean, Kucherov a couple of years ago missed the whole regular season and then led the playoffs in scoring. So I've watched Leon in the practices skating. He looks like he's in mid-season form. So I don't think there's any worry about Leon and where he will be with his game. The one thing that with Leon and coming back and Connor and Bouchard, the one thing that the Oilers that you love about their star players who have incredible regular seasons, and again, McDavid had another big one this year, and Bouchard, they get better in the playoffs. And that is just something that sets the Oilers star players different than a lot of, like, they not only do they maintain how good they were in the regular season, they're better. And I think that's one of the reasons it's hard to bet against the Oilers at any time, no matter what the regular season looks like. When Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl and Bouchard get into the playoffs, they're better. And to me, the path is not as hard to get to the third round as it has been in the past. And I think this is a confident group that feels, I mean, this is Stanley Cup or bust. They won't say it because they said it a couple of years ago. Right. Didn't work out. But that's the mindset of this team. Their only goal is to win a Stanley Cup. Anything else, they will believe that they failed.
Yeah. And I wonder if it's going to be hard to focus on this period, this power play, this shift, when it is kind of like, okay, you're already looking at this path we've talked about, Brownie. Like driving here today, I was like, okay, so they get through Anaheim, they'll probably get Vegas. Like it's already just like an assumption, but you got to win. These are tough hockey games. Just Cutter Gauthier and Lacombe and, some of those guys on the other side are pretty decent. Old Leo Carlson.
Well, there's a bunch of really good young players. I think Anaheim and San Jose and Utah, for that matter, are teams that you think a year or 2 years from now are going to be forces in come the playoffs. They're still a little green right now. I think the Oilers, I think they're going to come out flying. I really do. I think they're going to get, they get punched in the mouth a couple times with a great Leon Carlson rush or that Bennett Seneke, with a shot from him. And Anaheim is big, and they got some physical players. But Connor McDavid said it the other day that at times, I can't remember the word he used, but more or less we get a little complacent during the regular season because it's a long year. And we're ready now for the playoffs. So I think you're going to see playoff McDavid, playoff Draisaitl, and the entire team. This team is funny. It's not a physical hockey club until it matters. Then all of a sudden, the Edmonton Oilers become bullies. And you'll see it from their bottom six right now. Colton Dach was, I don't know if we all thought in the media that he was an add-on in the trade with the Blackhawks. Oh my goodness, has he been good since he's come here?
Really?
And just a pain in the butt for the opposition. So watch tonight when Dach is on the ice. Every time he steps on the ice, you will notice him. And he might only be 6 minutes, but he will make a difference in this hockey game. And that's what the Oilers have. They got a physicality in their bottom six to go with the skill they have in their top six.
So if we take out the top players and the bottom players, and we'll leave Colton there for a second, give me an X factor guy. Put Colson, Kapanen, Roslovic. Who's the
Savoy.
X guy?
It's Matty Savoy. He's a young kid. I've had him since grade 4. He's a St. Albert kid. He's been in our academy. He's actually worked our hockey schools for us. Incredible kid, great work ethic. Has had a nice regular season, 18 goals as a rookie. But now there's pressure. You play in the playoffs for a team that has Stanley Cup aspirations, and you're playing with Connor McDavid. If the Oilers win the Stanley Cup, Connor McDavid's going to have an incredible playoffs. We know that. Every team that wins the Cup, their best players are amazing. So McDavid's got to have this great year. Well, if you're riding shotgun with him, then you're going to have to produce. So to me, the X factor is Matty Savoy, who's got, 85 games in his National Hockey League career, but he now is in a playoff run on the top line, and there's the expectation that when he gets an opportunity, it's in the back of the net. So if he has a good playoff, that's good for the Edmonton Oilers. That means they're going a long ways.
So as they head forward into this postseason, is there a way that things go south with this Anaheim team? Like, is there anything over there? I know you talked about the young guys, but it's just tough for me to imagine, Brownie. I know.
I think the goaltender is Dostel. I think that's how you say his name. I don't want to mess it up, but he has the ability to win a game, and maybe he has the ability to win 2. I just can't see him winning 4, where he stands on his head, and the amount of chances that Anaheim gives up. I think they were 3rd or 4th most goals against in the National Hockey League this year. So they give up a lot. So I just can't see him winning 4 games against this Oiler team. And their penalty killing is not good enough. They were 27th in the NHL going against the best power play. And the Oilers' power play gets better in the playoffs as well. So I don't see it. I think teams like Vegas could give them a push, but I don't think Anaheim can. I don't think yet. I think Anaheim's still a year or 2 away.
Does Knobloch deserve some credit for the fact that these guys all sort of step it up in the postseason? Is it anything to do with him, or just like this? There's hyper competitive there.
Well, they never made the finals until Knobloch got here. Now the team's a little bit better, but the one thing that Knobloch has done, and he's done some things that you scratch your head. Like Kapanen last year was a healthy scratch in the press box. Came out of the press box and went on to Leon Draisaitl's line. You're like, hey, how do you take a guy from the press box and he goes on to the second line, and he scored the game-winning goal that night? So everything that Knobloch has done the last 2 years in the playoffs seems to have worked out. Some of them a little unconventional, but I think he deserves credit. I think he's got a calming influence. The one thing that this Oilers team did before the last 2 years, before they had their Stanley Cup runs, they would shoot themselves in the foot a lot of times with silly penalties. Leon used to take a lot, slashing penalties after the whistle. We had Kane was here. Like, they took a lot of dumb penalties. They have become very disciplined, very, very disciplined come playoff time. And they use when they get angry, instead of taking it out on the opposition, they put it into their play instead. So I think a lot of that is on Knobloch's calming influence on the team.
Brown, it seems that every year, especially at this time, people want to just look at that blue line and go, yeah, but there's the issue, right? And you mentioned Colton Dach, but there's also Connor Murphy. How has that changed the dynamic of that blue line, and how much is this blue line ready for the challenge, maybe in comparison to the last few years?
Well, I think Oiler management and players will feel that the first unit of Ekholm and Bouchard, I mean, you know what you're getting every night with them. Bouchard has got his detractors, but come playoff time, he's been excellent, and so has Ekholm. So their first unit, their first pairing has been fantastic. The problem in the past is they've had roller coaster rides with pairings 2 and 3. They traded for Murphy, and I don't know if he's become the Darnell Nurse whisperer, but they have become so steady and so you know what you're getting every time they step on the ice. There's nothing pretty about their game. They're not rushing the puck up, but it's just consistent. So now you've got your top 4 has been very good. And when you add Murphy, a Wallman moved back down to your third pairing. So Wallman, who was in the Oilers' top 4 last year, is now anchoring their third pairing. So the Oilers are deeper now with the addition of Connor Murphy. That was a very strong and subtle move that the Oilers made at the deadline. The Oilers' penalty killing is better now because of Connor Murphy, and their second pairing paired with Darnell Nurse has become much, much stronger and consistent. And that's to go a long way. I mean, the Oilers are going to score. They got Connor and they got Leon, and they got a power play that is unstoppable at times. But can they stop the opposition from scoring? And right now, over the last 10 games, defensively, the Oilers have been very, very good. And that is the biggest test for Anaheim. Can they match that type of defensive play against the Oilers? We'll see, but the Oilers had to learn it over a couple long playoff runs. So they got that experience to understand what you need to do come playoff time to win hockey games.
It feels likely to me, just looking at that roster, that they do have that run in them again. When that happens and you go to deep run, there's always these people who kind of, I guess, come out of the woodwork. But Trent Frederick was supposed to be a guy who didn't have to come out of the woodwork. He was just important to them. Has he found his way back to being important maybe not in the way they envisioned it, but he can help from the fourth line, can he?
He can. He's been very good. Colton Dach has come and added this energy to, they played third line for a while because of injuries, but now they're the fourth line. But he brought energy, and he kind of dragged Frederick into that kind of fight. So now when Frederick's out there, it's almost they got twins on each side. Tonight it's Henrique's playing in the middle, but it's on either side. And at the end of the night, you look at the stat page, they both had 6 hits. They both had 7 hits. They're playing to each other's strengths by dumping the puck into each other's corners. If one of them gets it, they're just throwing the puck at net because they know the other guy is already there. So the best Trent Frederick has played all season long has been in the last 10, 12 games when he's been put on a line with Colton Dach. So I don't think they envisioned Trent Frederick when they signed him to 8 years as a fourth line winger, but he has solidified the bottom 6 by playing on the fourth line. And you'll see tonight, when you watch the game, you'll see that the fourth line on this team has become a difference maker. And that's something that probably makes the Oilers a little deeper than their last 2 playoff runs.
Just in terms of the Paul Coffey factor here, is that truly played into where you feel that they are right now? Is it I don't know, as obvious as sometimes it looks from where I'm sitting?
I think the biggest thing Koff gives is he gives the defenseman swagger. I mean, anyone that knows Koff has swagger. He's confidence. He's a guy that you just want to hang out with because you feel good about yourself hanging out with him.
But once Koff starts laying into you, you don't feel good about yourself.
That is true, but that's usually when I would block him out, so I wouldn't listen to that part. But he does have a swagger. But the one player, like everyone thought last year that he spoke to Bush because Bush is the same kind of player. But to me, it's Darnell Nurse. Koff loves Nurse as a player. And Nurse plays, like when Koff came back, all of a sudden Nurse's minutes went up, and he was leading the Oilers some nights in minutes played. And this was a guy who had struggled most of the year. So Koff has given confidence to Darnell Nurse, and that's what the Oilers needed. You don't have to worry about Bouchard or Ekholm. They're going to do what they do and do it well. But I think Koff has made a difference with Darnell Nurse. He's given him confidence, and he's playing his best hockey of the season. So to me, it's hard not to listen when Paul Coffey speaks because he knows what he's talking about. It's usually with a biting sarcasm to it, but he does build you up. And I had played, I think, 3 years with Koff and Pitt. I loved hanging around with Coffey, but you're right. I liked some of the things that he was saying to other people because it was funny instead of when it was to you, because he does have a very biting sense of humor.
One last one for me, Brownie, and that's just speak of the Edmonton Oilers fans and how spoiled rotten they've been the last couple of years with their watch parties and their events while Sammy just sits home in his leaf puddle.
It is unbelievable. Like, I don't know. Have you been out here for the last 2 playoff runs? Have you guys come out to this?
We're not invited.
No, we just watch.
Well, I'm invited.
They don't let me in
You're more than
Edmonton.
welcome
Okay,
to come
all
sit
right.
with me in my little booth.
It's amazing.
But it is unbelievable here. Like the entire city, like I was driving around today, everyone's got their Oiler jerseys on already. The flags are on everybody's cars. When you go downtown tonight, the party atmosphere is there. The one thing about Edmonton, and it's probably because we have 8 to 10 months of winter, that anytime something comes to town, we're all in. Whether it's a folk fest, a fringe fest, Heritage Days, a concert, whatever it is, we are all in. So when the Oilers go on their run, downtown Edmonton is nuts. It's absolutely crazy. Everyone's in a good mood. They've got all these musical acts going. They got people coming early for dinner. Downtown is absolute bedlam. So I invite all of you Toronto friends to come on out here and hang with us, and we will show you a good time. I am a Maple Leaf fan, so I feel your pain. I went through some of these years with the Oilers, but everyone is welcome to become an Edmonton Oilers fan here for the next 2 months, and hopefully we'll end up with a Canadian Stanley Cup champion.
We're
We'll stay
in
at
on that.
Sutter's Ranch and we'll hang with Brownie. It sounds like an awesome time. Let's do it. Sammy's in.
Brownie, have a great run, buddy, and we'll be leaning on you heavily as well throughout these playoffs.
Sounds good. Anytime, guys.
Thanks, Brownie.
That is Rob Brown, who covers the Edmonton Oilers as well as anyone.
So I go to Alberta every year for a golf tournament, and we start in Edmonton usually and hang out with a couple buddies there. And we went downtown last year, it was after everything had ended, obviously, but just that building in general,
Yeah.
is breathtaking. Just like
Nice
the outside of it is just amazing. I can only
Like a spaceship.
I can only imagine what it's like down there when the Oilers are good and it's a big playoff game and they win a game. Like I don't know.
Great fan base. My neighborhood, a couple guys walking around with Oilers jerseys today.
I would say that there's a real, it's supposed to be, maybe my Leaf fans that are listening to this will disagree with me, but maybe Connor McDavid now in the best on best time, he means a lot more to me and a lot more to just everyone as Canadian hockey fans.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't have the most famous Canadian athlete just be
Not
like,
have a cup.
or just be like, he can't win the big one.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of the American media, like they love to say like, oh, he can't win like they're talking about it on Pardon My Take, can't win the big one. Like he is becoming this figure where like he needs to win the cup. Okay. And
You don't need to see the Habs get it. You don't need to see Ottawa get it. You're ready for Edmonton.
He's not 32. He's not 32. I understand he's not old.
He gets it. He
Connor gets
didn't give himself a raise in the prime of his career.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that like
He knows it.
he has not an infinite amount of chances here. And like we're getting closer to the age where you worry. So I'm really rooting for the Oilers, like legitimately. And I'm not just saying that to pander to them. I
Have
really
you
am.
looked at that roster? It's all year long. I went to their daily face-off or wherever you look at their lines, and I go, God, that's not great.
No, they're good.
You
They're the
know,
Oilers.
you open it today when everyone's healthy and everyone's back, and you go, geez, that's good.
Yeah, it looks like the Oilers
like,
again.
But
Jeez, that's
Coulson's
good.
a sleeper for me.
So good.
Okay, he's not Slavkovsky by any stretch, but he can play a
He's got a physical
heavy
element.
He can shoot it in the net. He can attack
Give
you.
him away.
He can attack you in different ways.
Yeah. What happened?
Vancouver.
Vancouver gave him away, if I recall. I could be totally making that up, but that's my vague
Can
recollection.
Roslovic shoot it in the net a couple of times?
Like you got
this
Roslovic on
next
the
2
third
months?
line where you're not too important. You're playing by Dickinson and RNH, who are very responsible players. Like I love that for him. Frederick on the fourth line with Doc and Henrique is great.
He was traded from Vancouver to Edmonton for a 4th round pick.
A steal.
Total steal.
Probably shouldn't have done
I
that.
want to hang on
steal.
to that. He's probably only 26
Well,
now. Or
I mean, when I tell you that the Vancouver Canucks got David Lewandowski with that pick, does that change your mind?
yeah, sure doesn't.
Kapanen's a talented guy.
24 Podkolzin. Jeez, Vancouver.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a stupid one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kapanen, he can fly. He's got this physical element for a guy who's 5'11". He's not afraid to throw himself around.
And like, listen, all these names that you're saying clearly are important. It's going to come down to 2, 97, 29, 14,
And the goalie.
It's
And
just
the
time,
goalie.
baby.
But like,
And the goalie, right, yeah.
he needs it. He can't, if he goes through his whole career and it's harder every year, they're adding 10 more teams. It's going to be a 70-team league soon.
Kansas City, whoever's are going to play the Quebec City something.
They
or other.
just, he needs,
next year.
if he doesn't have it, it's the first sentence of he's the greatest player in the history of the game that doesn't have a cup. It is. So he needs to win the cup, and this is a great chance.
Why do you think he was like yelling
Dig in.
in the dressing room?
I know.
He's feeling it.
But the biggest thing, if they can get through the West, and I know the West is a beast, Colorado, Vegas, the Panthers aren't waiting. They can boat race anyone from the East.
All right, then.
Don't you think? This
You're
is a
getting ahead of
great
yourself, but
Yes, I do think that you're right.
This is a huge opportunity for them.
yeah, it's open. But to be honest, there's 7, 8 teams right now thinking the same thing.
I don't know that there is.
I disagree with that.
I
In the West?
Across the league.
To me, it's
Across the
Edmonton,
league.
Colorado conference final is the biggest.
Come on.
Okay, then who then? Tell me the team.
Tampa, Montreal,
maybe not.
Buffalo.
Okay, yeah.
Well, is there going to be
Ottawa.
Edmonton?
No, No, that they think that they can win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Okay.
Organizations.
Yeah.
Sure.
Ottawa, we think
Colorado,
they can.
Minnesota, Dallas still thinks so, including getting their
Oof.
lunch fed to them.
Hey,
So I'm at
here
7
comes
now.
The airplane.
I'm at 7.
Yeah. I think the Oilers are better than all those teams other than Colorado.
Yeah, I think that.
Vegas, 8.
By
Still
the way,
think-
Vegas has no excuse. Vegas Edmonton round 2 is
There's
like
8 teams right
That'd be-
there that think that they can legitimately win the Stanley Cup this year. And they're crazy if they don't.
sure.
For sure. I think you're right. But I think
St.
all those
Louis
teams.
Blues won a cup 7 years ago.
Boston felt that way till about 10 minutes to go in the
Oh,
third
boy.
period.
Whoops.
Nice. We watched old Hampus Lindholm go back on the puck 2-2 with 3 minutes left and just go
And
Okay,
what was-
we'll get into
was
that
that
more, a
Peak,
little
too,
bit
that
more
got
detail on that.
Bodied off.
ugly.
Game time?
Yeah.
It's Game Time, presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. 4 games tonight. Pittsburgh and Philly. Game 2. Oh boy, I opened up the Bet365 app and I got to do an update. So give me 2 seconds here. Philly is in Pittsburgh. You guys were excited about that game? You thought it was exciting?
I mean, yeah, I thought that there was breakdowns, which meant there was some breakaways and chances. That if you're still a member of the Dudes, Connor Dewar is out there throwing his body around. He's a hockey player.
This take is going to really piss off Kyper, but I'm going to do it anyway. It didn't feel as good with those jerseys.
No, totally agree.
Do not wear
I
those
actually
jerseys.
tweeted that.
Why are you wearing those? You have the most beautiful home black
You
jerseys.
had the chance to do the
Those
classic
two, and
flyer
they wore their
white Pittsburgh black.
candy, you know what? Yellow jerseys that look like an expansion.
Yeah, it looks like someone threw mustard.
You're
Yeah.
horrible. What are you, the Predators?
Here come the Preds,
come
right.
on. Anyways, that pissed me off.
But you know
Anyways,
what? Sean Gentili, who I absolutely love,
Uh-huh.
he tweeted something to the effect of, I hate to say this, but if Sid didn't want to wear those jerseys, they wouldn't, which makes him complicit.
God, you're right. You're so right. Anyways, Pittsburgh's big faves tonight, as you would imagine, have to get back in the series. Minus 155 on the money line. So if you think the Flyers, if you believe in them, some pretty good value there at plus 130. And the late game that we were talking about with Brownie, Oilers open their playoffs. They are monster faves tonight, as you'd imagine. Minus 185 in their first game against the Ducks. You think the Ducks could go in there and steal one in game 1? They're plus 155 on the money line.
Hold on, sorry. What's the puck line Oilers in that one?
Plus
Can I get it for
135.
even? Ooh, I'm in.
Minus 130, minus 1.5 plus 135. So that's a good number there if you think the Oilers are going to have a hot start to the playoffs. Anyways, that was Game Time, presented by Bet365, an official partner of the NHL, Bus 19 Plus, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. And a reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne is brought to you by Bet365.
Easy game for the Ducks to play. Hey, no one expects anything out of you.
But I think that's dangerous.
Totally.
Really
we can't-
dangerous.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
on McDavid.
all upside.
It's like, oh, crap. We're down 3-0.
all upside for
Oh,
them.
yeah. Upside. Let me see
It is an easy spot to play
see
from.
the backside of
However,
Draisaitl's jersey the whole game.
They do have to play those guys, and that's not fun.
Okay, let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll get in deeper on the 4 games on tap tonight, including Minnie and Dallas, and how badly does Jake Ottinger need a win in game 2? Maybe we'll even discuss what Peter DeBoer might be thinking after watching that
Otter?
game 1. That and more when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, wherever you're watching, listening. Glad you're aboard.
Time now for the Acura Performance Matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX, precisely premium. Looking at Game 2 of Ottawa, Carolina tonight, which a couple of Sens fans tweeted me being like, you thought that was a snooze fest, you idiot.
All right.
Here's the thing, though. When you're invested in a playoff game, regardless of what the game looks like,
You're tense.
you're dialed in. Like every Leafs game is I was right in it.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of an impartial observer.
Outsider.
So couple stats from the game tonight going into it. Sebastian Aho needs one playoff point to tie Valtteri Filppula for fifth place in the NHL's all-time list among Finnish players. Can you name the other ones?
Well, I know one would be Teemu Solani.
Correct.
Is Mikko Rantanen up there?
Correct. 123 points. And then the top two you don't have.
Best Finnish players.
Come on.
Yari.
Yari, number
Yari.
one.
There you go.
233 career playoff
Is
points.
SAT
I would have got
Yes.
that a lot faster, but I wasn't paying attention to it.
Oh, my God.
Zoned out.
And then you just asked me.
Anyways, so yeah.
SAT.
Estetiganen. This is a great one before we go here. The Hurricanes can become the first team in NHL history with a 2-0 lead during their first best-of-7 series in 6 straight postseasons.
Wow.
Yeah, Carolina's current run is tied with the Islanders, your dad's Islanders, the Chicago Blackhawks from 70 to 74, and the Montreal Canadiens twice, 65 to 69, 51 to 55.
They must just keep getting lucky.
So they win.
Hurricanes.
They go up 2-0 in every first-round series. So I thought that was a fascinating stat. That was the Acura Performance Matchup, the 2026 Acura MDX, precisely premium.
Okay, plenty of storylines with goaltenders, and I mentioned Ottinger before the break, but we got to discuss Hellebuck
Yes.
in Winnipeg, who,
Jets talk.
Jets talk.
unlike Austin Matthews, kind of tried to predict the future a little bit for the
well,
Winnipeg Jets.
he brought out
tried
his
to
crystal
dictate
ball,
the-
didn't he?
He tried to dictate the future, which is different. And I'll be honest, it's competitive and it's honest, and I like what's happening.
So we have 2 separate clips.
Not for Winnipeg, though.
2 separate clips here. This is on his Future in Winnipeg, and he was asked a question from a reporter, and there was a 7-second pause between him answering the question and the question. I didn't put that in there, but I'll just tell you for dramatic effect, the pause was there. Let's play.
7 is real. In real time, 7 seconds is a life.
Let's play clip 1, please, on his Future in Winnipeg.
You know, I don't want to go and leave any speculation. You know, I love this city and I love playing here, and the fans have given me so much, and I've given so much back to the fans, and you know, there's a real connection there. I wish more people around the league would see that and could see that. Am I going to go and tell you that right now I feel amazing about winning a cup tomorrow? Like, no team out of playoffs is going to say that, and no player out of playoffs is going to say that. But you know, you make your decisions and you live by them, and you know, as time goes by, you try to reevaluate, and then honestly, that as an athlete, the only thing you can do is put your best foot forward. You know, you make your decision and put your best foot forward, and you know, that's where my head's at right now. Is I have a nice long summer ahead of me, and you know, I'm going to get some recovery, some much needed recovery. I've played a lot in these recent months, and I'm going to really focus on my game and really break it down and see where I can improve some things. And you know, and being one of the best in the world is something I've always took a stride for, and I want this summer to take another big step forward for that. That sort of thing.
Is that, do we want to play the other one, or is
Sure.
that's it?
Well, no, there's another clip that's about the team construction.
Do you want to hear it first, or do
Sure.
you want to weigh in first?
Let's play.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's do that.
Let's play the other clip there, Derek.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question for Chevy. It really is. From my perspective, I would like to see. I mean, complacency is just it's not what we're gonna. It's not gonna get us forward. It's not gonna get us moving forward. So something's got to happen. I'm not going to sit here and just throw every guy under the bus because honestly, I'm a goalie and I know goaltending really well. I can't say, oh, this forward did this and that defense did that. Like, that's not my spot. And I believe in every guy and giving their A-plus effort every single night. And, you know, that's a lot of times that's all you can ask is give your all every single night. And, you know, as a teammate, I can really rally behind that and really cherish those moments with those guys. But, you know, to just put that same product on the ice, I don't think it worked for a reason.
That's
I got a lot of time for that, all of it.
For both those.
Yep.
he stayed in his own lane, right? Didn't try to tell anyone else what to do. The only
Didn't say that we have to play like bastards.
the only way he deviated was he said, "This product on the ice, I think there's a reason it didn't work."
It's stating the obvious, though, right?
Right. It is. To me, that is a guy saying, "Bring me someone. We need a star."
No, listen.
Or bring me someone.
It's you. The good ones can say certain things, and then you just connect the dots. Then you just read between the lines. And I like the way he said that. I've got a good connection with the city that they've given me so much and I've given back.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, establishes the partnership that this is a two-way street. So that's just not a message to the fans. It's a message to management too. And I think when push comes to shove, I think the message is clear that if I'm not going to win here, I'm not staying here. That's basically what these guys now who are the $8-10 million players and soon to be 12 to 14 to 17, they have that ability to say, whether I've got a no trade, whether I don't have a no trade, if you don't want an unhappy star player. And to your point on many times on our show, it's like they've never established more power. And Connor certainly showed it as we listened to that.
Yeah, the one line that stood out early in the first clip is he says, "I love it here, and I wish more people around the league would see that or would love it too," or whatever the exact wording was. But, like, you do get the sense that he's saying, I know that it's hard for us to get players here.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's tough to recruit to Winnipeg, to sign free agents, to have people traded here who don't have us on their no trade. So for him, I think it's very hard for him to see how they work their way better if they're not able to go get good players.
I don't even want to put this out in the ether, but if I'm Bill Zito, buddy, I'm blowing up Shovel Dales.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
What do you got to pay to get the Hart Trophy winner from last year in his prime?
Their first overall pick or whatever pick they get this year.
Yeah.
One of their players called into the league.
Yeah.
And then they just have their goalie for the next 6 years.
I mean,
I hope Bill Zito doesn't listen to
I
our
get
show
it from a
because-
Florida perspective for sure.
Yeah,
but
I
for
don't
Winnipeg,
think
it's like,
I don't think Florida needs to do that at this point right now.
Okay. Who's playing net for them next year?
Bobrovsky.
Danil Tarasov.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bobrovsky.
I think the American connection and them, I don't know. I could see that happening.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
but not now. To me, it's just
But the Jets are, I mean, but you think like the Matthews is going to get traded this offseason, or like he's in the same conversation, the exact same conversation as
will
these
say
other
this.
American guys.
I will say this:
Wasn't until this.
at Bobrovsky's age, if he doesn't come back and get off to a great start, and you're at Christmas, and there's some issues there, you may be able to pivot. It all depends on Bobrovsky now, and they want him back. He wants to go back. How much is money going to be an issue? How much is term going to be an issue? He's not getting Brad Marchand's contract. I'm sorry, but we only had one of those, and he got it. Yeah. Although we loved you at your age, you're not getting it. Right. If you need to revisit it, Sammy, you can revisit it, but it's not a summer thing for them to go after Connor Hellebuck now.
I just think the Jets are extremely similar to the Leafs. And we're talking about how that's like, oh, they should bring back Scheifele and bring back, and like everybody treats them with kid gloves or whatever, but like they're not going to win anything with Hellebuck or with Scheifele or whatever. So they should just they don't have to tear it down, but the Leafs have to tear it down.
Yeah.
Like it's like if you think you're not going to win the cup with those guys, I'm sorry.
Winnipeg's in a hard spot though, right? Because like if they do tear it down and do a rebuild, and you have a couple years of minimal attendance in the league's smallest building, and it's feels more existential.
Sure.
So there is more pressure, I think, to compete. And they just won the President's Trophy last year. Can you make a couple of moves and find a way? But it's funny because this Hellebuck thing, he always seemed like the one American who was like, "Hey, look, I'm here." He did that interview with Sarah Orlesky that was so good recently. I don't know. It was right after the Olympics, maybe, where he was just like, his commitment to Winnipeg was so strong. It was like in his house. I don't know if you saw it, but
I did not.
I
kind of avoided the post-Olympic American.
He's always been very committed to Winnipeg and Canada, and so he's clearly like, yeah, I can see long term here. We need to be good, and that puts pressure on Chevy. This is a Chevy here in that press conference was like, okay.
We have a Chevy clip.
Oh boy.
Let's play that Kevin Cheveldayoff clip on Hellebuck.
You don't become an elite player in this league unless you have that kind of emotion, that kind of fire, that kind of drive. But as far as putting the organization on notice, that's something that happens each and every day. It doesn't take someone to say it in the public. Each and every day, my job, over the course of whether it's a day or a week or a month, or as again you draft, as you try to find, as you try to trade, is to try to find a way to fill the pieces, fill the gaps, keep building towards something. Again, I would not expect any one of these players to have come into our exit meetings, come to the exit interviews that they had with all of you, and say, you know what, it's okay, it's all right.
Okay, one last thought on Connor Hellebuck, and I think I've made it clear to you guys throughout the year how I feel about goalies speaking out of position. You just heard from Connor say, not my spot to talk about.
I'm a goalie.
Other guys.
Effort, forwards,
right?
Defenseman.
Not my spot. This is an MVP of the league, gold medal champion, and not his spot. If I'm any other goalie in the league right now.
Crap.
What goalie are you talking about, Kyper? Just say Stolarz. Just say it.
Hey.
Just say it.
You can't stuff a hockey sock in my mouth fast enough.
Yeah.
If I have the urge to say something about one of my teammates.
Kind of a bummer,
I mean,
because you like it because it gives us something to talk about.
Not just that, but I think, they are players on the team who have observations on the team, same as anyone else. And I don't think that they should be.
I know, but they're not paid to observe everybody's position.
But no, I got to tell you.
Anyways, I just liked it. I
don't love Connor Hellebuck for a lot of different reasons.
But you like him a little bit more today.
I thought those clips were great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I did.
I wonder how prepared that was. The fact that there was a 7-second pause implies some organic thoughtfulness.
Yep. But he's always been thoughtful. He's just maybe sometimes said the wrong thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I do think that there's probably lots of times they've come to him and said, hey, look, at the deadline, we tried to get this guy. We're on his no trade. We tried to get that guy. We can't get him.
Sabres?
Sabres, okay.
Oh, my God.
Did you see before the game the guys on rollerblades beating up the Bruin dummy? It's just scenes, I believe they would say in soccer. Just
this city has magic when it comes to supporting their teams in playoffs.
Is magic a euphemism for morons? I love them. By the way,
I love them. If they're morons, I still love them.
No, I love
the energy is awesome.
We were watching going, what a bunch of goofs. This is awesome.
Yeah, like just blue light fueled madness.
Just beating on a dummy and everyone's celebrating. That's a good time.
The one guy was like rollerblading backwards and caught one of the gloves and eats it.
Someone else went tackle.
They weren't too happy when they were down 2-0, by the way.
No, I got a little tired. I heard a boo or two for
sure. Good. I get it.
That tells you everything you need to know with where their bar's set. The fans.
And that's good. This is not just happy to be here.
Not just happy to be here.
We expect to win. And that's the celebrations outside for the 3-2 goal. And I tweeted about this, but the 2-1 goal Tage Thompson scores, they can't make a dent in Boston. He makes a touch behind the net. Oh, are we going to see it right here? Watch this touch on his backhand. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh, my God, that's so nasty.
Yeah.
And that happened in 1 second real time from Tage.
That is Tage
That's a softie.
Lemieux.
That was a
It-
softie, though, that goal.
Yeah, that was not good.
And this right here, the fact that opportunity comes up, there's a miscommunication behind that from the goaltender, Lindholm.
What's going to happen if they win a cup?
I don't know. They might just TNT the whole building. Just blow it
Honestly.
right up.
That crowd pop for the Samuelson goal was Stanley Cup final level.
You'll never hear a better one.
No,
That's
as good as it gets.
electric as you can
I
do.
want to get into the importance of the Dallas Stars coming back here in Game 2 against Minnesota. The belief was Ottinger's this amazing goalie who's played amazing against every playoff team he's faced except the Edmonton Oilers.
Right.
And now, Game 1 against Minnesota, where he didn't fare very well.
Just a bad game? Can you give him just a bad game or what?
Yeah,
Is this
I
a
think.
trend
Yeah, I don't
or-
think you have any other choice, but he has got to rebound tonight.
He does. It's a big one. That was I would say, the most disappointing, strange game where you just we're expecting this close battle between two superstars. Postseason Ottinger is a 9-11 goalie. He's not a bad playoff goalie by any stretch. That's 66 starts. That's a pretty good track record.
So we did our picks on Friday, and we just win one game. For my panic meter picks,
Oh yeah, what would you change if I gave you an audible?
Minnesota.
Yeah, I would too.
I thought they looked fabulous in
Yeah,
that
they
game.
did look good.
They just Quinn Hughes and Faber buzzing around. Boldy's a mutant.
Yeah.
Kaprizov.
It's the blue line
They're
there.
just
and it's
unbelievable.
just Quinn Hughes was like the biggest cherry on a Sunday you could ever find.
Yeah.
But they were
It
good
It is the blue line.
without him.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is
The
The control.
I think that's the
Erickson
only
X.
pick I would change.
Yeah, me
if
too.
I could change it.
Me too.
Ottawa, yeah.
I think
Pittsburgh's
Ottawa's.
still in.
I think that's going to be a long series.
Yeah, me too. But either way, exciting night ahead.
So-
Edmonton Oilers get started.
Philly tied up?
Yep.
Or I'm sorry,
Pittsburgh,
Pitt?
yep.
Pitt 1-1.
Porter Martone.
Ottawa,
that's
Ottawa,
profound play.
Carolina, they go down 2-0, or is it 1-1?
I think they go down 2-0. Maybe.
Just to keep the history alive here?
Yeah, that's basically why I went with that stat.
I don't know. I don't know what to expect. Freddie Anderson going to be good again?
The stakes are not big enough yet, buddy. They got to get this to 6 or 7 for it to matter.
For him to crack?
Yeah, he'll crack. Don't you worry. I think
I think Ottawa wins tonight. Ottawa wins.
didn't love.
Yeah, I think
either
Ottawa
goal.
wins tonight, too.
Didn't love what?
Either goal on Allmark on Saturday.
Yeah, the second one was
He held them in
particularly-
there, though.
Yeah, he made some saves.
Yeah,
It just seems sometimes when Allmark just, it's not that you have to fight through that goal that just went over him, but there's just no sense of urgency to try to find it with him, eh? He's just like, okay, wherever it is, it is.
we'll sort it out. No, I think Ottawa will have a good bounce back one tonight.
And Edmonton by how many goals tonight? 3, 4,
I think Anaheim
5?
gives them their best push tonight. 5-3 Edmonton.
I was going to say 6-4 Oil.
Empty netter.
We're not betting on Ingram being
Goals are flying in tonight. I feel like it's going to be a wild one. There hasn't been a wild one yet.
no high scoring game.
No.
Well, I guess Minnesota had 5 or 6.
All right. Just make sure you sit back and relax tonight. Don't touch that dial. Sportsnet's got you covered.
Let's go, man.
Here we
Jeez.
go.
4 games on tap. Our thanks to Craig Simpson, 2-time Stanley Cup champion, Hockey Night in Canada, and Rob Brown, covering the Edmonton Oilers. Our thanks to wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening. If you give us a thumbs up on YouTube, we sure appreciate that. Enjoy your games, and we're back here tomorrow to do it all over again on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show.